What's happening, guys? Martin is back again. There's a quick video for you on the way, doing the work and whatever else like that. So, question for you to the community. In respect of marriage in this day and age, is there any point to marriage? And the reason why I ask this is not necessarily to say that there is not a point from a perspective of, you know, having that communion with somebody else and having that family and everything else like that, but it's just a question. Because back in the day, I understand people were getting married for the purposes of legacy, for the purposes of finance, for the purposes of, you know, we're warring tribes, you marry my daughter or my daughter marries your son, and therefore we'll have that peace between the two tribes because we won't war because we got a common interest. You know, it's like Sony and Samsung. You know, we are companies, Korean companies, and my daughter, you marries your son, vice versa, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to screw over my company. So, you know, even, you know, from a business perspective, there's still a warfare aspect you can look at, but that is what it is. Now, that being said, in the modern day and age, where men aren't necessarily, how can I say, not to say better off, but, you know, there are scenarios where, you know, ladies are definitely more, I'd say, more established. Not saying it 100%, I get that, but I can understand there's more mobility to some extent compared to before. Now, a lot of people are living on their own. A lot of people are living in, you know, if they have like a house share or anything like that, yes, they may share to share bills, but not necessarily together. But there's a lot of people now compared to before where more people live on their own. So that being said, question really is, you know, for the purposes of marriage, what are we getting married for? So divorce rates are very high as it stands anyway. Usually divorce seems to be initiated by the lady. So as a guy, the question really is, well, what do you gain from that? Now, if you talk about a prenup, that can cause problems. Some people aren't happy with that. Definitely talking about a prenup. I know from personal experience that's caused arguments. So with that in mind, you know, what do? Do you just say, okay, well, I'm not going to get married because I'm worried about the financial side of things in case or in the event of divorce, which is kind of a negative way to look at these things. Sorry. It's kind of a negative way to look at these things. Or do you take the view to say, well, you know, to hell with it, let's see what happens. But if you spent your time, you worked, you built up your nest egg, you built up yourself, and now subsequently you're in a position to say, well, I can get married to somebody and there is a risk of this, but I'm willing to bear the risk. Okay, you only live once. But the most people really want to do that. You know, if you can't put something in place, so you're talking about a prenup as a particular point, and that starts an argument, is that also saying that that person is not for you? So, you know, the whole focus on having a family and being in a relationship or anything else like that is fantastic, and it can happen, but you don't necessarily need to be married for that. However, children and so forth, you want your children to grow up in a secure unit and have that tradition and that legacy of marriage. So that's just my thoughts. Leave your comments down below, guys. Again, a guy in this fair, his man is trying to find his way, and it's just a question for you. And yeah.